Russia's military operation in Ukraine has driven up global inflation, food and energy prices. Coupled with Africa's extreme weather events, wheat and fertilizer supply chains have been disrupted, putting the continent on the brink of the worst food crisis in 40 years. An issue expected to headline the United Nations General Assembly meeting in New York.
For a long time now, countries have been dependent on Russia, the US, China, of course, and Ukraine, especially North African countries that import over 40% of their wheat and grain, and this has been disrupted by this war.
Despite a largely neutral stance on the conflict, Africa is paying dearly. A United Nations brokered deal has allowed for the flow of much-needed agricultural products from warring countries, but Russia says it's not reaching developing nations.
The Western world wants to punish Russia through sanctions, and beyond that, they're using trade and applying sanctions on Russia. But these sanctions are going beyond Russia. They're also trying to punish countries that do business with Russia.
If a speedy resolution is not found, the British Red Cross warns 146 million Africans could go hungry, 3 times more than those affected by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We need to completely relook at the way we feed our populations. We are far too dependent on imports, and a lot of those imports come from countries where there are agricultural subsidies, which are fundamentally unfair to the developing world and actually inhibit our agricultural growth.
This further strengthens Africa's case to bolster internal trade and production.
As much as this poses a great danger to Africa, it also brings an opportunity. The opportunity that Africans are now growing wheat in a much larger scale. It opens Africa's agricultural products into the global value chain in a much bigger way.
African leaders will be hoping the basket of issues plaguing the continent will get particular attention. The continent has been on the back foot since the COVID-19 pandemic, and hopes of a recovery have been dashed by the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the possibility of a global recession.